Planning, procuring essential aid and securing corridors are vital components of disaster intervention in armed conflict. Well, a local NGO, the Gift of the Givers Foundation, has been called upon to assist with the operations on the ground. The group will provide emergency medical and non-medical assistance to frontline facilities and internally displaced civilians. They will also fund the repatriation of South African students wanting to return home. Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman is the founder of Gift of the Givers and joins me now for more. Dr. Suleiman, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Expand, if you can, on the intervention in Ukraine.
Good morning. Thank you very much. We're looking at different approaches. The one is, the advantage is there are South Africans that are married in Ukraine. There's a South African gentleman whose wife is Ukrainian. She's based inside Ukraine. And from Saturday, we've been speaking to them and supporting with finance to purchase items. The situation is very, very complicated. You got areas that are completely closed up, as Adil was speaking about right now. There are other areas where are less secure, more open, but still very dangerous. And the other problem is that there's a shortage of supplies of goods. So what we've done, we've told the lady, do what you want, get what you want, buy what you can from wherever you can. So Saturday she bought items, yesterday she bought items, which she said is getting more expensive and more difficult to find. Today, this morning, they've gone around shopping to see if they can find any wholesalers. All the shops are not open because people are scared. And even once you get the shops, it's difficult to get transport to deliver goods to different areas. People are again scared of shelling and bombing. But the methodology she's using, she's speaking to other people in different areas to try to do the same thing, to replicate the model. Where we fund the items, they buy whatever is available, from where available, and take it to people in need. That's the first step. The second one is, I was on a discussion on Thursday night. I was invited to a discussion. I don't know any of those people. I was only, NGO on that one from Africa. And eventually, one of the person on that chat is one of the chief coordinators for aid into Ukraine. Before I spoke to you now, I've been talking to her. She's on a flight to Singapore. And they have been arranging stuff from Europe. And we could help fund those items, move medical supplies to frontline hospitals and frontline people, depending on the availability of a secure corridor. At the same time, they'll also be supplying food, medicines, blankets, baby food, diapers to other areas where people are internally displaced. We'll be funding that. We'll also be funding transport and the support for volunteers who need food and other items, and for frontline doctors with snacks and coffee and those items. In addition to that, the pharmaceutical groups are talking to us this morning around 10 o'clock and again at 3 o'clock. They want to do something for Ukraine. And with that, we will airlift medical supplies from South Africa to Poland, and there's a route from there into Ukraine. The last two aspects is South Africans stuck in Ukraine or around its neighboring countries who want to come home, and we'll be working on that. But that's logistics also to bring back.
All right, Dr. Suleiman, I think you've inadvertently muted yourself there, so we haven't been able to hear what you're saying over the last 10 or 15 seconds or so. Let's try again.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. We've got you back. Please, we cut off just as you were talking about the repatriation of South Africans.
Oh, sorry. All right. We are busy with groups. They have lists of South Africans who want to come home. Some have come home, and many don't want to come home. They want to stay in Europe. They're scared. They lose the opportunity of studying further. So who wants to come home? We look at partnering some other people to bring them home. But we've got another request from South Africans based in the UK, saying there's a lot of students from Africa who are stuck, who have no finances, no support, don't know where to go, and totally stranded. And they will need some funding to bring them either into other safer parts of Europe, where arrangements will be made to look after them, or bring them back home. So we also look at that possibility, depending on the funding, to even help African students who need to get out of there or want to come home or go for somewhere else in Europe.
When it comes to South African students, do you have an idea of the numbers of South African students that are still in the Ukraine or that have decided to stay in Europe, and how many will be coming home?
We've been told there's hundreds of them, but I spoke to the organizers, and they said most of them said they don't want to come home. They said because they've studied for many years, and when they come home, they'll have no chance of going back to study any further, and their degrees will get cut off. So they are saying that if arrangements can be made through our government and universities in Europe to take them in, I don't know how feasible that's going to be, to do that. And if they stay there, it can't be open-ended. The reality is people won't fund students sitting, with accommodation and food, waiting for months for something to happen. That's not going to happen. It's not realistic. But by some miracle, if the universities open and take some students, then their careers can be saved. The people I'm speaking to in the UK said they are talking to senior people in governments and at universities to see if this is possible to absorb some of the students. There's no exact number. We don't know. Somebody told me in Hungary there's over 100 South African medical students stuck there. And then we said we're a few hundred people who just come out of Ukraine. Others are based in Russia. Others are based in Poland. So there's no clear figure who's stuck, where they're stuck, who wants to come home, who doesn't want to come home, who's come home already. And those figures are very hard to come by.
Dr. Suleiman, final question. You said you were on a call with people who are involved in the humanitarian effort in the Ukraine. Do we have any idea of what the situation is like on the ground, of how many displacements, whether the civil infrastructure, how badly it's been damaged? And you spoke of your MO of getting someone in the Ukraine to buy supplies. Do we know how long those supplies in the Ukraine will last?
To answer your question, from the discussion we had on Thursday night on that discussion, and from the person I'm speaking to, and from our own experience in wars like this, we know what's going to happen. But let's not say what's going to happen. Let's see what's happening right now. Right now, they said it's just a mass movement of people, hundreds of thousands of them. The word they use is chaos, moving towards borders or moving away from the bombing areas to areas that are relatively safer. Many students are stuck in certain cities in a big hall. All water, sanitation, electricity is cut off. There's no food and medical supplies. Hospitals inside Kiev and other areas are cut off. Again, difficulty with electricity, water, medical supplies. Food, there's a big shortage. Many shops are closed. People can't procure fresh items. Things are very expensive. People don't have the money anymore. The situation is getting horrendous and it's going to be far worse. Then those who are moving away, they have family members who can't move. They're too old or they're ill, and they have to leave them alone in the homes. Those people are going to be stranded without any support. So they need to do individual support in homes. It's going to be very, very difficult. And this is only the beginning. It's so chaotic already. It's going to be a nightmare with the days to come.
Well, Dr. Suleiman, if there's anyone who's equipped to deal with that kind of nightmare, it's you and your team from the Gift of the Givers. So we wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman from the Gift of the Givers Foundation.